I'm at a British Vintage Wireless Society Swapmeet, just north of London. To buy or not to buy, that's the only question right now. I'll show you at the end what, if anything, came home with me. The BVWS runs several swap meets and auctions through the year, and this one is in Biggleswade, Bedfordshire. There are more than 1,000 members who show an interest in vintage radio, television, hi-fi and audio equipment. So let's have a look around, see what caught my eye and see what you can recognise. This Quad 303 pre and power amp looked to be in really good condition. You'd never guess this was launched in 1967. It still looks modern nearly 60 years later. Quad sold hundreds of thousands of these, and they really are a classic. There were stalls selling everything from the 1920s right through to the 2000s. I nearly bought an Eyefull multimeter, mainly for nostalgia, as I remember using them at school. And there was a lovely Sony reel-to-reel deck. There were lots of radios for sale too, including these beautiful early transistor models for just a few pounds. If you come to one of these events, it really does pay to get here early. It was very busy at 9:30 and much quieter after 12, but some of the stalls were starting to look quite bare. And do look under the tables, because there's nearly as much on the floor as there is on top. I nearly bought the GEC transistor radio on the shelf. My parents had one of these in the kitchen in the 1970s. The Bakelite telephone and leak receiver were tempting as well. There's quite a mix of things here too. Fancy a camera? In a moment I'll show you one thing that I've never seen before, and later on I'll show you how to grab a bargain for about the price of a takeaway coffee. The BVWS produces a quarterly bulletin, which is really more of a magazine. It's typically around 60 pages, very professionally designed, printed in colour, and usually has some beautiful photography. The bulletin alone is almost worth the membership fee. And just like the BVWS itself, it covers all sorts of mid-century electronics. Here's the summer 2025 edition with a beautiful Sony reel-to-reel deck on the cover. There were lots of valve radios for sale, and the styling and dials on these wooden sets is just beautiful. This is a wood-cased Emerson from the US. There were plenty of Bakelite radios as well. Quite a few Bush transistor radios here too. If you're looking online for one, just make sure you don't buy one of the cheap modern copies. Bush made versions of this with FM, so they're quite usable today. I had one in the kitchen for years, and mine's now waiting its turn in the restoration queue. The styling of these early television sets is quite extraordinary. Bakelite allowed far more complex shapes than were practical with wooden cabinets. Just don't expect them to pick up modern digital TV. And these KB transistor sets were only £16, worth it as an ornament alone, although of course they really ought to be used. By contrast, here's a mug's eyeful, as Alan Sugar would have said. I was half tempted to buy this early Amstrad cassette deck just to find out how bad it really was. Perhaps another day. Lots more Bakelite valve radios too, including this Bush DAC 90. The British Vintage Wireless Society has now been going for 50 years. As you can see, it's not just about wireless and radio, it's really about electronics from the mid-century period and earlier. They run plenty of events like this around the country and welcome non-members who are thinking of joining, so you don't have to be a member to attend one of these. I've put a link in the description to their website and events page. Here's a really interesting combined TV and radio made by National, what today would be badged Panasonic. I've never seen one of these before. I'd guess it's from the 70s. What do you think? And there were lots of record players too, including this Philips one playing a 78. Philips made some really interesting equipment in the 70s. There were plenty of records for sale as well. These 78s have beautiful labels, and until I spoke to one of the stall holders I had no idea there were 78 singles. That unusual set I mentioned is still to come, and it wasn't the only thing here that made me stop and look twice. I had a good chat with this chap. We talked about tattoos almost as much as electronics. He was selling some really interesting things. This tuner didn't have a maker's badge on it, so I've no idea who built it, but it was really well made and has an impressive number of bands. And if 78s aren't your thing, there were also quite a few stalls selling cheap LPs and singles. There were lots of wooden radio sets for sale as well. I'd guess these are from the 1930s and 40s, but I'm not an expert on them. They're beautiful pieces of furniture with the added bonus that they're full of vintage electronics. I really liked this Grundig reel-to-reel recorder, purely on looks alone. Another really lovely piece of mid-century electronics, but not one I could justify buying. And yet more leak equipment. A stereo 30 transistor amp and a Troughline tuner. They both need some work, but there's always a market for leak gear. Then on to some earlier things, wooden radios and horn speakers. So we're nearly at the point where I have to decide whether to buy anything, and one particular radio at the end was very hard to leave behind. The BVWS runs events throughout the year, and this is one of their regional swap meets. They also run auctions which are well worth visiting, and I'll be at their biggest event on the 17th of May. It's called RetroTech near Coventry, with more than 150 sellers. I've put links to that in the description if you're interested. The Swapmeet also has a bring and buy table that was full of all sorts of interesting things people had bought to sell, most of them disappearing very quickly. I spotted this Hacker radio. They were made in Maidenhead, not far from me, and had a really good reputation for build quality and sound quality. At £5, that was seriously tempting. Right, it's a couple of days after Swapmeet. I'm back home in the workshop, so it's time to reveal if I bought anything and what I bought. Well, I did buy something. I bought two things actually. Spent a grand total of £7 on two things. First thing I bought was this, which is a voltmeter with 3 and 30 volt inputs. I believe this is for testing valve equipment. The 3 volts is the low tension heater circuit, is it? And 30 volts is for something else. I don't really know why it only goes up to 30 volts. I'd have thought it would go higher if it was for valve equipment. But anyway, the bottom is the positive, and this is like a little test probe. Or I guess you could attach a fly lead if you wanted to. But the idea is, I think, is that you touch that on the positive, and then you attach fly leads to either the 3 volt or the 30 volt pin. So I didn't need this. I probably won't use it. I haven't really got much need for it. It's a bit like an early multimeter in a way. I just thought it was really nice. It's in perfect condition. The case isn't cracked or scratched really. The meter scale looks beautifully clean. Even it pretty much lines up perfectly with 0. Well, obviously you can adjust that. So that was the first thing I bought. £2. I just thought it was kind of a nice thing to have in the workshop. Then the second thing, I went a bit crazy and spent £5, and I bought this, which is the Hacker Sovereign 2 radio. Again, I didn't really need it, but it's in really nice condition, very nice condition. Cosmetically, there's a couple of little bits where the vinyl is lifting, but otherwise pretty good. It all needs a clean. If we have a quick look at this, it's on a swivel base, so you can rotate it, which is very nice. And then if we have a look at the top, hopefully you can see we've got the aerial on, off and volume there. Bass and treble, separate bass and treble controls. Got long wave, medium wave and VHF or FM. Interstation muting there. Obviously, you've got tuning on the right. Then we've got several inputs. So we've got a input gram, which I don't know. That can't be a phono input. I can't imagine. Yeah, phono input. I don't know what that was for. I assume it's to connect to radiogram, some sort of external source. It's got an output tape recording, so you can output to a tape recorder. Then it's got an external aerial, which is full of fluff, and it's got a headphones output. So this is a model RP25A. It's got, if you can see, it's got kind of not presets, but like markers that you can move on the scale to remind you where your favourite stations are. And obviously you can see the tuning scale move. So that's that. Let's just open the back and have a quick look inside. Pretty clean. It takes two 9-volt batteries, so we've got separate connectors, and I think they're in series, so it's an 18-volt radio. But yeah, pretty clean inside, so I will kind of power this and test it and clean it and try and use it. But that is what I bought at Swapmeet in Biggleswade. So not a lot of money, but a couple of nice things that this may be in a future video, I think. Don't forget to like and subscribe down below. I'll see you in the next video. Bye.